welcome to the deep dive. So, you shared a piece by Jim Rohn with us, and it really struck a chord all about getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, Jim Rohn. He's such a big name in personal development, and this text really hits on one of his core themes, doesn't it? That tension between feeling safe and, well, needing to push beyond that for actual growth.
Exactly. So, our mission here is to really unpack his ideas, pull out the core insights, and see how you can, apply them.
Right. Making it
Mhm.
practical. Why does this matter for you, the listener, and what can you actually do with this?
Okay, so let's get right into it. Ron starts by defining this comfort zone. He calls it a safe place, something familiar, predictable, and easy.
And it's important to say that zone does serve a purpose. We need places to relax, to recharge.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with wanting ease sometime.
But, and here's the shift. Ron argues that very comfort can turn into a kind of trap.
Or even a prison, he says. A barrier that actually stops us from reaching our potential. That's
Ow.
quite a statement.
It really is. It shows how security over time can actually limit us. What starts as safety can end up preventing new experiences, new skills.
Yeah, you can get too comfortable, maybe less adaptable.
Precisely. And he tells this story about a talented young guy, had potential, lived a comfortable life, good job, nice home, but
Felt unfulfilled. That sense he could do more.
exactly that. He never took the risk, never reached for it, and there's this implied regret, the sense of what might have been.
It really highlights that hesitation, doesn't it? Always next year, or when the time is right.
Mm-hmm. And those years just slip by, the step never gets taken. Comfortable, sure, but maybe missing something crucial.
And that's what Ron means by the danger of complacency, right?
Mhm.
Believing staying put, even if you're not thrilled, is better than facing uncertainty.
Right. It's an illusion of safety, almost.
But Ron is really clear on this. He says essentially the only way to grow, to really succeed, is by taking risks, stepping outside that zone.
It's a direct challenge. And you might think, easy for him to say.
Yeah, he made it. But Ron acknowledges that. He talks about his own fears, his own need to take those leaps.
He does. He admits he felt scared too, which gives it more credibility, I think. It wasn't just simple for him either.
Exactly. And he makes the point that life is risk. You can't avoid it completely.
So the choice isn't whether to risk, but maybe which risks to take. The ones that lead somewhere.
That seems to be his argument. Embrace the calculated risks needed for growth. Because, as he puts it, without risk, there can be no reward.
Makes you think, avoiding risk.
Yeah.
That's a risk in itself, isn't it? The risk of just stagnating.
That's a great way to put it. Staying put has its own dangers.
And biologically even, we're kind of wired for challenge. That's how we learn. Pushing boundaries can actually feel rewarding eventually.
Ron shares a bit about starting his business, too. Feeling young, clueless, scared.
Yeah, terrified, I think he says. But he made the choice. He left the familiar for the unknown.
And the takeaway he draws is powerful. Every success he had came after stepping out of his comfort zone.
A direct link. Do the uncomfortable thing, get the reward.
So how do we, apply this? Ron really prompts us to look inwards. Ask yourself honestly, where am I playing it safe right now?
Mm-hmm. In your career, relationships, just personal growth stuff.
Where is fear holding you back? Maybe fear disguised as being sensible.
It requires some real honesty, doesn't it, to identify those areas?
And then, he says, make a conscious decision. Maybe even right now listening to this. Decide to start stepping out.
It's not about being reckless, though. It's intentional discomfort.
Right. Choosing things that stretch you, even if they feel a bit awkward at first.
And of course, this brings up fear. Fear of failing, fear of what people think, just fear of the unknown. Ron sees this as the main reason we stay put.
Yeah, and he uses that Nelson Mandela quote here, which fits perfectly.
Oh, the one about courage. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it.
Exactly. It's not about not feeling fear. Fear is normal.
It's about acting anyway, not letting the fear paralyze you.
Acknowledge it, sure, but don't let it call the shots. Ron says, feel the fear, but take the step anyway.
Because the growth, the achievement, the fulfillment, it's on the other side of that feeling.
And he asks those piercing questions to help cut through the noise. What would you do if you weren't afraid?
Oof, yeah. And what's really stopping me gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it?
It does. And alongside that, he reframes how we think about failure, which is often a huge part of the fear.
Right. He suggests failure isn't the end. It's often the beginning of something great.
A learning experience, a chance to adjust.
Exactly. Feedback, resilience building. The real failure, in Ron's view, isn't messing up.
It's not trying in the first place. staying safe in the zone.
And to really drive this home, he tells the Colonel Sanders story.
Oh, right. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Didn't he face tons of rejections and started late in life?
Yeah, success came in his 60s after countless setbacks. Talk about persistence.
It's such a powerful example of it's never too late to take a risk. Age, past failures, they don't have to be deal breakers.
Absolutely. It perfectly illustrates Ron's point.
So the message really crystallizes. Growth and comfort do not coexist. You kind of have to choose.
If you want progress, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable sometimes. That feeling is the signal you're stretching.
And he points out that positive feedback loop too, right? The more you step out.
The easier it gets. You build resilience, you start seeing challenges differently as opportunities, not just threats.
Then there's that sense of urgency he injects. Life is not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, this is it. Our one shot.
And that hits home, thinking about potential regret. Looking back, wishing you'd taken a chance you were too scared to take at the time.
That can be a heavy feeling. So Ron urges action now.
And he sums it all up with that really striking final thought. The greatest risk in life is not taking any risks at all.
Whoa. Yeah.
The greatest danger is not stepping out of your comfort zone, but staying where you are. It completely flips the script on what risk means.
It really does. We think stepping out is risky, but he argues staying put, staying small, that's the biggest gamble with your potential.
So, wrapping up Ron's core insight.
Yeah.
Yes, stepping outside your comfort zone feels challenging, maybe scary, but it's absolutely essential for growth, for success, for, a genuinely fulfilling life.
It's the key, really. And building on that, maybe a final thought for you, the listener. What's just one small thing, maybe something that makes you just a little bit uncomfortable that you could commit to doing today?
Doesn't have to be huge, just one small step.
Exactly. And who knows what positive ripple effects that single small action might set off. And hey, if you found this deep dive into Jim Rohn helpful and you're interested in more discussions like this, exploring different ideas.
Yeah, definitely consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you join the conversation there.